Good day, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Military and Foreign Affairs Network. I am your host, the voice of reason. In this episode, on the ongoing coverage of the civil war taking place inside of the former state of Ethiopia, the fighting continues, and in this episode, we wanted to specifically talk about the type of support that the Abiy regime, the Abiy Ahmed regime, located in Addis Ababa, also known as FEN, and how they are being supported by the Turkish military, the Turkish state, how they are being supported by the People's Liberation Army of the People's Republic of China, and Emirate forces of the United Arab Emirates. And again, this support is very, very significant and has really picked up in the last 2 months. Specifically, support does not always have to mean direct military assets on the ground. Now, with that being said, that support is being provided, but it is a combination of assets that are being utilized by the Turkish forces, by the Turkish state under Erdogan, and the People's Republic of China and the United Arab Emirates. So first and foremost, coming from Turkey and again being supported by China is not just the idea that they're being given drones. It's just not the fact that the Turkish state is providing advanced TB2 drones with MAML precision-guided missiles. It is not that is part of it, but again, in conjunction with the deployment of Chinese-made Wing Loon drones, also being assisted and furthermore being provided by the United Arab Emirates. So you have the TB2 drone that has been given to the Abiy regime, along with those precision-guided weapon systems. How many at this point is still fairly classified and very difficult to obtain. We would say at least 6 have been deployed within the vicinity of both Addis Ababa and quite possibly in the Afar region as well. We can also confirm that at least an additional 6 Wing Loon drones were also delivered by the People's Republic of China. And the United Arab Emirates have also provided both drones and drone operators to assist Ethiopia in the deployment of those Wing Loon drones. We believe the TB2 drone is actually being operated by Turkish personnel on the ground in actually just southwest of Addis Ababa at the main Air Force base, just to the southeast of Addis Ababa, also known as FEN. But again, it's just not these assets. There is remote sensing assets that are being actively used by both Turkey and the People's Republic of China. That is not limited to satellite remote sensing assets and additional drone capability that has the capacity to loiter for a very significant amount of time. And in conjunction with those drones, we are also seeing certain elements of signal intercept technology and signal monitoring technology being utilized. So right now, the Tigrayan Defense Forces communicate quite a bit by radio, and they also use satellite phones as well to communicate. They do not have a lot of those systems, but those systems are being used by battlefield commanders to help communicate and move forces around. And the intel that we've received is that with the help of Turkish, also, please understand this is NATO technology, North Atlantic Treaty Organization technology, because Turkey is a quote-unquote NATO partner. They have access to some of these signal intelligence assets that can do a very, very effective job at locating where some of these transmissions are coming from, and then in conjunction with remote sensing assets and in conjunction with combat drones, they are able to strike these positions. But again, since September, November, and now December of this year, the level of situational awareness by the Ethiopian National Defense Forces, by the Abiy supporters, by the Abiy forces, have obtained a higher degree of situational awareness on the ground because of these assets. And again, these are not just drone assets. These are other assets as well that have the ability to locate, identify, and then move assets, strike assets, such as the Turkish TB2 drone and the Chinese Wing Loon drone, to deploy these systems against the location, possible command and control centers, possible supply nodes of the Tigrayan Defense Forces. And we saw those come into play very, very heavily within the vicinity of Debre Berhan, to the northeast of Debre Berhan, and the fighting that took place near Shir Robit and north of there. Obviously, this continues. The drone support is omnipresent right now. Again, you're looking at Turkish drones, Chinese drones, United Arab Emirates drones, and again, not just drones. You're looking at other intelligence assets being supplied to the Abiy loyalists in this ongoing conflict. And again, it's just not those systems as well. We're really looking at both a land bridge and an air bridge that is transporting large amounts of equipment, battlefield equipment, into Addis Ababa and other parts of the former state of Ethiopia. Again, this just does not include drones. We're looking at armored vehicles being transported in. We are looking at a wide range of other sources of equipment, such as night vision equipment, such as arms and munitions, to continue to supply the Ethiopian Defense Forces and the Amhara regional militias as well. So again, that exists, and given that the Anaconda strategy is still in effect, which makes it very difficult for the Tigray region to receive external support and external supply of munitions and supplies, that has made it very, very difficult to fight extended battles 160 miles to the south of the Tigray region proper. And again, that has what has changed the situation on the ground, and it has led to a modification of the strategy by the Tigrayan Defense Forces. Again, it is not the competency of the Ethiopian National Defense Forces. It is not the competency of these Amhara regional militias. It is the direct support, both material, logistical, and advisory level support, that is taking place by Turkish forces, taking place by UAE elements, and the People's Republic of China. And again, we probably would not be in this situation. When I say be in this situation, meaning the Tigrayan Defense Forces, the change of what is happening on the ground, if it was not for these foreign actors directly supporting the Abiy loyalist side of the equation. Again, if we harken back just 3 months ago, 2 months ago, we were seeing loss after loss after loss after loss, battlefield losses by the ENDF. I had mentioned earlier, they've experienced in excess of 100,000 casualties, KIA wounded, seriously wounded, over the course of this conflict, and has been very, very significantly degraded, with the exception of mobilization of Amhara regional militias, additional forces in terms of newly recruited soldiers that are being supported by this drone activity. And again, if you have any qualms about how these drones can be utilized, I would encourage you to go to other YouTube channels and simply search under Armenian Azerbaijan war and drone strikes, and look at some of the optic footage that was sent out by the Azeri government, and you'll get a good idea of just kind of the capabilities that are being used on the ground and in the air by the Abiy loyalists, and supporting the Amhara regional militias, Afar regional militias, and other forces as well. We also believe, again, based on some intel that has come in, that there are actually Turkish Special Operations Forces, or former members of Turkish Special Forces, Turkish operators, actually on the ground and embedded with certain Ethiopian units, intelligence units, Republican Guard units on the ground within the vicinity of Shia Robit, just north of Ataye, and some other areas. We have reason to believe this is, again, confirmed actual Turkish forces on the ground assisting the Abiy Ahmed regime. But again, that is, again, one of the reasons, and I have been asked in the comment section to provide more clarity on certain capabilities between the two forces. I've talked extensively about the Tigrayan Defense Forces, as they have been right now conducting a fairly significant offensive operation that until very recently has really seen a lot of success. Now, again, is the conflict going to change in perpetuity? Again, that's very, very doubtful. The Tigrayan Defense Forces still possess significant battlefield capabilities. They still possess significant amounts of deployed manpower, in excess of 200,000 personnel. And again, it looks like they are committed right now to quite possibly continuing to defend the Tigray region, and quite possibly setting up conditions for a declaration of independence by the Tigray region from the Abiy loyalist-based government. And again, we're watching that very closely. It would probably be the best solution right now to obtain a formal recognition that the Tigray region is now its own independent republic, its own state, and possibly seeking acceptance from Sudan, Egypt, and some other actors that could at some point offer direct support to the Tigrayan Defense Forces and the Tigray region. But again, right now, this is the largest conflict on the planet. Now we're watching what's going on very closely within the context of Ukraine and Russia, and that could change the dynamics of this current conflict, the conflict taking place in Ethiopia, as the largest both conventional and high-intensity insurgency conflict on the planet. And again, that could change depending on what happens and what Vladimir Putin does. But again, right now, in terms of military conflicts, and this is why this channel covers this, again, it's not being given its due coverage for a variety of reasons. But again, we're covering it, and we're trying to provide as much factual information as possible about the ongoing conflict that is both accurate and objective in terms of what is happening on the ground. But again, we will provide more information soon, watching the situation very, very closely. We will continue to cover this very closely, even and if there is a war breaking out in Ukraine. So you have that commitment from the Military and Foreign Affairs Network to continue to provide a lot of coverage, daily coverage of this ongoing conflict that is taking place inside of the former state of Ethiopia as that civil war rages on. But again, more content to come, and have a great day, everybody.